Remember this video? Whoa. How did we get here? It was my first Shaolin related video. I had about 1,000 subscribers and honestly, at that point, I had given up on making YouTube my job. In that video, I give you guys a brief summary of, my life at the Shaolin Temple. It was not an easy video to write because I didn't want to go into too much detail. And I remember sending the script to my mom a few times, asking her if it was okay. Now, I just rewatched that video yesterday and it just seems more and more absurd to me that it is missing a very crucial detail that I kept from you guys over the years. The most important aspect. The reason why Shaolin means so much to me, why I was able to survive there for 3 years and why I have Shaolin engraved in my wedding ring, it's not because, oh, Shaolin is so cool. It's because I met, my beautiful wife at the Shaolin Temple. It is December 2022, which means it's our 5-year wedding anniversary. So I thought there couldn't be a better moment to make this video. Sophia, consider this my gift to you. In a weird way, my wife has kind of been a part of this channel over the years. Sometimes you hear her voice.
Do your shit on this fucking floor.
Or you see her arm. I even made a video that was entirely narrated by her. That was a fun experiment. She's always behind the camera giving me thumbs up or thumbs down, mostly thumbs down. I know when she's laughing at my jokes, I'm making a good video. It's my secret to success. I love you. I'm in love with the interview. So here's the story of how I met my wife at the Shaolin Temple. I went to Shaolin in, I think, June 2013. A month into my stay, I switched over to training directly in the temple and I moved to a different hostel where my now wife, then stranger, Sophia was staying. And what was the first thing I did at that hostel? I wanted to know the Wi-Fi password to download some shows. Because when you're not training, sleeping or eating, I was lying in my bed watching Scrubs. Best show ever, by the way. It was pretty late in the day because the sunlight already mostly gone and Sophia was sitting there next to the door of a classroom, and because I have no inhibitions and no blockage when it comes to greeting people, I immediately yelled, "Oh, what's the Wi-Fi password?" I saw that she was Russian, and that's odd because most people who see my wife think she's a Latina from Puerto Rico. She doesn't look very Russian, but I could tell. It's those street smarts that I have. And so I said the first thing that came to my mind in Russian, and that's "Я такой крутой." The only thing I know how to say in Russian. What does it mean?
I'm so cool.
And then I left without even waiting for a response. I know what you're thinking. That was our first interaction. What did you think about me?
Retard.
In the upcoming months, we trained side by side every day, hours upon hours, non-stop. When we had to buy new weapons, clothes or food in the city, we went together. And since Sophia also spoke Chinese, it fell on both of us to translate for other people coming to the temple, between the masters and the students and vice versa. We were a team. Everyone knew that Sophia and Anton are a package deal. But I want to make it very clear. Nothing remotely romantic happened between us, and for good reasons. First of all, we didn't come here to find a partner. We came here to train and learn, and that's what we did. Secondly, I was still mentally stuck in my first relationship and all the heartbreak associated with that. And Sophia was still somewhat interested in a guy from Russia. I don't want to relitigate that whole drama, but let's say she also wasn't looking for someone. And thirdly, and this is also very important, a Buddhist temple is maybe not the most appropriate or accommodating place for a relationship. Understandably so, right? And number 4, Sophia's parents made it very clear, if she gets into a relationship with someone there, they were gonna send her back home. Yeah, no hate to her parents. I think if I was a father of a woman and that went far away, I would maybe say the same thing. Now, some of you might say,
yeah, but when a man and a woman together spend so much time, who you kidding? Who you kidding?
No, I'm not the kind of guy to chase after women. Never have, and I wouldn't even know how. No, honestly, life at Shaolin is ironically enough so stressful that it wasn't even on my mind. I was just happy to have a friend that also stayed there for a long time like me. Constantly having to say goodbye to cool people who just stay there for a week or 2 or a month if you're lucky, it kind of wears you down over time. And I was looking for some type of anchor, I think. Sophia was that anchor for me. But now comes the cringiest part. Oh God. Ready? This is gonna be so embarrassing and I might regret telling this story later. Not gonna read the comments on this one. I'm not proud of it. It's stupid. It's the type of thing that if you saw it in a movie, you'd roll your eyes and say, that's so cheesy. Sometimes life is stranger than fiction. That's all I can say, okay? This is what happened. So brace yourself for incredible cringe. In December of the same year, so about 4 to 5 months of spending time with each other non-stop, seeing each other cry from pain, seeing each other being pushed over the limit, breaking down from the pressure, it's simply impossible to hide anything from each other in that place. It's not like dating where you pretend to be someone else or to make a good impression. It's the opposite of that. We were from the start completely authentic with each other. And so after almost half a year, I had a dream involving her. No, not that kind of dream. You filthy, dirty mind. Not that kind. but definitely a romantic dream. It's literally like in the movie Inception. Yeah. Where just one dream can plant a seed of an idea in your brain and out of nowhere change the way you perceive a person. And from that point on forward, I saw Sophia in a different way, and now it gets worse, guys. Sophia had a dream involving me the same night. I warned you guys, it's horrible. Who knows why? Maybe the stars aligned perfectly to create the harmonic conversion. Or maybe it was our brains, you know, creating that connection because we subconsciously realized that we needed each other to survive. But no matter what the reasons were, things now weren't the same anymore. And yeah, we talked it through. Now I want to spare you some of the details. Long story short, we decided to give us a shot. Now, as you can imagine, being in a relationship at Shaolin is not easy. It's weird, it's unusual. We knew we didn't want to make a big deal out of it. We didn't know how long it was going to last, but I also know many people already assumed we were in a relationship for quite some time because Sophia and I were always seen together. So at some point, about half a year into our relationship, we decided to tell our master for the sake of transparency. We were quite close with him. He was a very nice, very good guy, very caring man, and I'll never forget his reaction. He looked at us and said, "Very good." He was the first person to give us his blessing. He knew before our families did, but he also told us to not let it distract us. We're here to train after all, and he was right. It helped to hear someone say that to us, you know. The fact that we found each other is on one hand beautiful, but we mustn't forget where we are and why we are here. I'm very grateful to him for that, putting things into perspective. You know, nowadays I say that Sophia is the love of my life and I love her so much. Every day a little bit more. But honestly, that wasn't the case in the beginning. Not all relationships start like that. In the beginning, I legitimately thought that this relationship wasn't going to last. We didn't have that much in common. Her English wasn't perfect and we argued a lot, even as friends, yeah? Our relationship got stronger as time went on and we had to go through more and more. And today I know, looking back, that I wouldn't have lasted in Shaolin without her. There is no doubt in my mind. The first winter was absolutely brutal. Nobody comes to visit the temple. Many of the monks go home to their families and it's just lonely as hell. I would have left the temple after half a year if I didn't have Sophia. That's the reality. She allowed me to stay on that trajectory that has determined so much about my life. But all good things must come to an end. After 2 years, she left. I remember we were sitting at a fast food restaurant called Dicko's. It's like the Chinese KFC. They had great chicken nuggets. Dicko's. It's like my Dicko's. And that's where we said goodbye. She was gonna take the bus to Zhengzhou, then fly to Beijing, and then back to Moscow. And that's it. It's so weird, I didn't even feel sad, I didn't cry, I just felt overwhelming loneliness. I've never felt so abandoned in my whole life. Sure, we planned to stay in touch, we made some arrangements, but ultimately, you never know with these things, yeah? Life is just unpredictable. And anyways, I don't really believe in long distance relationship, not now, not then, so I thought, that's it. In retrospect, I don't know how I managed to stay for another year. And I'm not trying to paint my last year in a bad light. On the contrary, my last year at Shaolin was my most productive, where I learned the most, because I was getting more and more involved with the warrior monks in the temple. All I had to remind me of her was a little necklace she gave me. I wore it every day and we talked every day. I also want to say that I'm so proud of my wife. She went back home, started learning German, started her own business, basically teaching Kung Fu to kids and seniors. She did nothing but study and work, and eventually she even earned good money. And even though there was so much pulling us apart, we managed to stay together and visit each other several times. I visited her in Moscow, she visited me in Germany over Christmas, and she also came back to the Shaolin Temple for another 3 months to train with me and the monks again. It was awesome. I believe long distance relationships can only work when you know exactly when you'll see each other again, when you have plans. I doubt you can just wing it. You'll grow apart and the uncertainty is going to drive you into someone else's arms. Yeah. So then, ultimately, I also left the Shaolin Temple, and about half a year later, my wife sacrificed everything she has built in her hometown to come to Germany, and that was the beginning of a whole nother story. Sophia and I sometimes reminisce about these days, and we always end up on the same thought. How the frick did we manage to stay together? It could have come a million different ways. But it didn't. It is what it is. Yeah. Love you. I also want to use this opportunity to give you guys a bit of an update. I feel that some of you guys may feel like, yo, Ranton, you haven't been active on so long. Where you been? You can't just upload like nothing happened. I don't love update videos, but maybe some of you need it. So here you go. At the end of 2019, 2020, I felt a little burned out, you know. No inspiration, no drive. I streamed for over a year, which was great. And I built a second channel, Ranton. That was good. For those who stuck with me over there, for you, I was never really gone. But a lot has happened. I moved into a new place, as you can see. I finally got a dog, which is a lifelong dream dream come true. My wife has almost finished her apprenticeship, and I kind of got my own life together as well. Maybe it didn't show on the outside, but my life was pure chaos. I had a horrible rhythm, no routine. I spent way too much time online doing just jack shit. I wasn't working out enough. I didn't watch what I eat. It was a disaster. No reason to sugarcoat it. And for over 1.5 years now, I have a sleep schedule, meal schedule, training schedule, piano schedule, and I finally found a routine, that works for me. And I've never been more motivated and focused and I think in my life. So yeah, I'm thinking I'm back. I got 2.5 reviews in the pipeline for you guys. Callisto Protocol, Need for Speed, Unbound. They're amazing videos. They're old school. You'll instantly recognize that feeling. Please support me on Patreon since I'm unable to get sponsors. Yeah, something about my humor, I guess. And yeah, don't forget to watch your thing.